Okay.
Beautiful. Love that. Chatter, we are back.
Wouldn't be the silver and black coffee hour without technical difficulties.
You
So,
know what? But this is good because we get to go vertical. We get to show the fits off. I saw Lithuania, you know, I mean we got Olympics coming up. It's festive, right? Let me get a little
we are
list.
back. We are back officially.
Yeah.
Drummer
Let's
Zeb.
let's make sure we get this link out for the people, make sure they know. Maybe delete some of the other ones. Um
Yeah, Jesus
let me
Christ.
let me yeah. All right, that one's got the big red live button. Okay, cool.
Delete all these other. Well, while Tom's doing that, I'm just gonna start us off. Hey, welcome to the Silver and Black Coffee Hour, technical difficulties live stream edition. And guess what? Everybody's having technical difficulties because it's the trade deadline. And during the trade deadline, everybody is like, oh man, someone's trading for this. Oh gosh, where's Giannis going? James Harden wants out. Oh man, Shams Charania doesn't know how to talk. Everybody's having a hard time. And this whole time, too, people are like, oh man, we got to balance our books. We got to make sure. Let me tell you something. I'm going to get a rant off right here, coming in spicy. Boston Celtics and the Boston Media Mafia, I'm looking at you. Okay?
mm,
I have never seen a campaign done better than rooting for the front office to shed money for the team. It's not about like this Boots trade, like, oh, look, we got like a legit big now instead of Nemias Queta. Oh, no. What they're talking about every time is like, oh my gosh, look how much money Boston shedded again. Like, what type of fans are we? I'm
okay,
not about
okay.
shedding
Hold
money. I want
hold
things to
on.
win.
Let's be fair to those Celtics because I
Be fair to
actually
the Celtics, Tom.
yes.
Be fair to the
Uh
Celtics. Oh
and
my
I
God.
am saying this as a former employee of the Boston Globe. But you know, uh I think this was a really good move for them for just not just cap sheet reasons. I think it is a good
Oh my
center
God.
pickup for
Oh my
them.
God.
However, they did save a lot of money. They saved like a bunch of money, and not it's not about just saving money. It's about can they continue working before this trade deadline to get under that luxury tax entirely, so that they can maybe like try to reset their repeater clock. They got some good stuff. I'm gonna put some more respect on the Celtics
Tom,
than you're willing to now.
Tom, when you play NBA 2K, what do you do? Do you play as the players or do you just like being a GM on that video game the whole time?
Brother, what are you talking? You know I'm a spreadsheets guy. That's how I play Arc Raiders. That's how I play the college football game. That's how I play Grand Theft Auto. I am a if the game could just be a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, I would love playing it like that. Personally. I'm a dork. I'm a
Tom
huge dork. Which
Petrini,
is why I love trade deadline time, baby.
Tom Petrini has already let us know a couple things to our fellow viewers and listeners. Loves spreadsheets and he's a part of the Boston Media Mafia too.
I'm
I
just I'm
mean,
just letting you know.
I just think when a trade is centered around shedding money, and I guess this is more to do with like the existential way that this league is covered. And so when a trade is brought about, like, oh, look at the tax dollars they're not shedding. Guess what? Like, that's what we talk to the government about. Hey, make sure tax dollars work. All right. It's not something I go to the Boston Celtics to get like some idea of like tax policy for them. We
It's
play to win these games. And like, I don't fully know if this is a win now move or not. I mean, Vooch is a bit of a turnstile on defense, but somehow he puts up a double double every day. But what I'm trying to say here is like right now, when we're talking about the trade deadline, as it currently stands, it's 6:11 Central Time in Texas. There are people that are trying to make a move for Giannis Antetokounmpo in the hopes that they will win a championship. That I mean, and that's the point, right? Is that there are right now, so there's so much parity in the league that there is going to be about maybe 7 teams that think they can win the championship, and realistically, there's probably 3, maybe 4, based on what happens between now and, you know, Thursday. So when I see this with the Celtics, like on on the on the idea of the move and player movement in general, okay, you have like a real big now. And Kata can go into either a backup role, maybe you do double big or something with them. Like that's interesting. But I just think when the centerpiece of the narrative around the trade is look at them, they shed dollars. It's like I don't watch the NBA to watch people shed dollars. I watch to watch amazing 0.1% athletes do cool shit.
I
I
understand.
don't think that's too reductive.
I get it. I get it. But the nuance of the trade deadline means that there are a lot of things that happen for reasons that are difficult to explain through that lens, in a way that a lot of teams hope will help them put ball through hoop later on. All right, we're about 6 minutes and 30 seconds into this show. I think it's about time that we introduce ourselves to the people. Thank you for showing up, people. After our technical difficulties, we figured it out. We got there. Um, this is the Silver and Black Coffee Hour, which is a Austin-based, homegrown San Antonio Spurs podcast.
Boldly going where no other Spurs podcast has gone before.
Right. Uh, it's juicy times. It's listen. We talk about it, man. We love some slop. And the slop. This is like the meatiest the slop ever gets. This is like hamburger helper type slop. You know what I'm saying? Um, I see some folks in the chat. Gonna say hi to some folks in the chat. Uh, Novella, France, Utah starting to look good. We'll talk about that. They made a big move today for Jaren Jackson Jr., trading 3 firsts. I don't know that I've ever seen a team as far under 500 as the Utah Jazz are, trading 3 future firsts. It kind of makes sense. I kind of understand it. But it is good to have you all here with us on the Silver and Black Coffee Hour. I'm excited. It's a big week for the show. Good week for the show. Like I said, Austin based, and with Austin Week coming up, we're going to have Spurs Vice President of Strategic Growth, Brandon James, back on the show. Last year, we also talked to him right after the trade deadline, and he's just like a fascinating guy to talk to regarding, the apron and the salary cap and all the unsexy stuff that Aaron doesn't care about.
I care, but it's the middle of the season. It's not that I don't care. I care. I care.
It just
I'm
doesn't. It just doesn't rev your engines.
no, once again, okay, like maybe this is more specifically with the Boston trade that the narrative around it being about shedding money than the fact that they are in the hunt for the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference and they pick up a player who is decent and they get a little bit bigger and they get rid of Anthony Simons who I stood in front of at summer league this summer. He's a very nice guy. Um them moving over to him, it's like, okay, like usually the narrative used to be like, is this a win now move? That was the first question. And every time for the Celtics, though, in the last year since Jason Tatum has gotten hurt, it's, oh, look at the way they shed money. I just think it's weird because I'll pivot this now because we already have some people talking about this. The Utah Jazz and the Memphis Grizzlies trade.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. That is also we're probably going to see Triple J with like a lingering injury for the rest of the season.
Oh yeah, his
And
calf is going to be sore as hell.
and then Utah though now there's been many reports over this season that Lauri Markkanen likes Utah. So imagine next year you roll out a lineup with Lauri Markkanen, Triple J, Walker Kessler, and anywhere from 1 to 5 in this latest draft class, and Keontae George. That's a
See,
pretty good team really quickly.
I am imagining it, right? I think the thing that I'm thinking about as I imagine it is, man, you got Laurie Markkinen, you got Walker Kessler who's going to play center, and now you're bringing in Jaren Jackson Jr. who's almost 7 feet tall, um, a good shooter, right? But his contract too, it's a long contract. It's a long term deal, right? And I'm looking at their cap sheet, and I'm like, man, you're pushing valuable trade chips into the table now to go in on a core of Keontae George, Laurie Markkinen, and Triple J. And when I first saw it, I was like, man, I do not understand the Utah Jazz spending 3 first round picks in this way at this time. And I say that knowing that they're going to be good next year, thinking that they're going to be good next year. Just they can't win this year given their pick situation. Um, but I think next year they're going to be pretty good, right? Um, and then I realized that I'm thinking about it from a very privileged perspective of the way I look at the Spurs, which is like the Spurs are a destination now, right? And Utah, as good as I think they're going to be, they're not exactly a destination. So if they can go, take a swing on a guy who they think is going to fit and be good for them, you know, I don't I don't hate it, right? Um, but and Laurie can play the three. You can have a 7 foot or 7'1" guy play the three, I guess. Um, but I was scratching my head a little bit, and it's making more sense to me as the afternoon goes on. Um, but from the Spurs perspective on this, I think it's more interesting in terms of both of those teams have other pieces that may be more expendable to them now. If the Grizzlies are in blow it up mode and the Utah Jazz are, um, you know, looking to shed some salary
Yeah.
or just get something for Yusuf Nurkic, I think they could look for Yusuf Nurkic. I think they
So
could look for Sandy Aldama.
Shams is already saying that like this move signals that the Grizzlies are going full rebuild mode. I think another thing I saw in the flurry of information today was look, basically the untouchables on the Grizzlies are Cedric Coward and Zach Edey. I know that you've been high on Santi Aldama. I've been high on Santi Aldama. He's someone I would think makes a great fit in San Antonio as far as like a marginal fitting piece. But I I mean, I guess first things first, Tom. I gotta think that with the Spurs having a back to back coming up tomorrow night against OKC and then Dallas on Thursday at the trade deadline, that if the Spurs do something, I'm guessing it happens tonight. I mean, do you think that's fair to say, or you think they'll do something game day?
I don't think that really factors into it for them. I think because of the movable pieces that the Spurs have, the way I'm looking at it is that I'm expecting any deal that the Spurs do to come like a few hours before the deadline or getting closer to it because I think
Because
that
of cash considerations, we know that the Spurs love cash at this
Spurs
time of
love
year.
cash considerations, but I think just given that their biggest piece that may have some value outside of draft picks is Jeremy Sohan right now. I think they're looking at a lot of I'm guessing they're looking at a lot of different potential deals for him, deals for just him, deals for him plus Olynyk and or Harrison Barnes, and that gives them a lot of optionality. So I don't think they're going to be in a rush to hit the button. I
Mm.
think they're going to have some moves on deck that they can make closer to the deadline and feel comfortable that they've sussed out all of their options because stuff's
So
happening,
let's
right?
break it down. We think the most movable contracts for where things are at with the Spurs. We're going to start with Jeremy Sohan, which that is now the most open secret on that we talked about on the last show. Kelly Olynyk with an expiring. and then we also got Harrison Barnes with an expiring.
Yep.
So those are the three. Is there anyone else on the team?
Outside of the like the minimum contract guys, no.
Yeah,
Because the Spurs put up the graphic today. They've got 8 guys averaging double figures, right? The other 2 guys in their rotation that aren't averaging 10 plus points are Lou Cornett, who does literally everything else, and Carter Bryant, who is a rookie that the Spurs, I think, feel good enough about giving rotation minutes to that they were sort of, it became a natural shift for them to put their eggs in the Carter Bryant basket and take them out of the Jeremy Sochan basket. Um, so yeah, the combined contracts of Sohan, Olynyk, and Barnes gets to almost 40 million. It's like 39 and a half. There's some other minimum deals. So it's a lot of money that the Spurs could, in theory, send out to match salary in a deal where they're sending draft picks for a player.
and the Spurs are not in the luxury tax
They're
currently.
not. They're
They're not.
5.5 million under about.
Yeah, so there is some wiggle room there. They're not a first apron team. They're not a second apron team. Like it's overall, their books are in good places. You over at SI this week have been really on top of this on talking about great destinations, things that make sense for Jeremy Sohan specifically. You've also been breaking down some of the other trade targets. So, look, we have some people in the chat. Drummers, again, shout out to you, Drummer ZB or Drummer Zeb, talking about we need a forward that can shoot and younger than Harrison Barnes. Look, I have nothing to argue with that sentiment. I also think that in this day and age, that is going to be a tough ask. Um, whether or not there's even a Wemby tax, I don't know. Um, one thing I'll maybe bring up as like a for an interesting and maybe help with our SEO, Tom. And I love your idea on this. Ooh, I'm not going to go John Collins just yet. We'll get to John Collins. All right, Tom, you're Brian Wright, who we know has a cell phone at this point.
And an
The
Apple
spec
Watch.
It was speculated at one point that Brian Wright did not have a cell phone. Not on this
Confirmed phone
podcast.
haver.
Yes. As someone who has seen him many times, I can tell you he has a phone. He has never talked to me, mainly because he's on that phone. Um, what? Okay. There is all this fire. There's smoke, I should say. There's smoke about the Minnesota Timberwolves clearing money with Mike Conley, trading him out, and looking to bring in Giannis Antetokounmpo. If you're Brian Wright, though, and would you help facilitate that by taking on Jaden McDaniels?
So this is, I think, the interesting question about the Spurs for a Giannis trade, a potential Giannis trade, right? To the Timberwolves or elsewhere, right? Because they're not going to go get Giannis. I'm sorry, they're just not going to do it.
You don't think the Timberwolves are going to get Giannis?
I don't think the Spurs are going to get Giannis, but I
Right.
think that for a team like the Timberwolves or the Knicks, for example, or the Heat, maybe, where they don't have a lot of picks to throw Milwaukee's way, um, there's a construction for Giannis to new Giannis destination. That team sends players to San Antonio. San Antonio sends expiring salary and picks to uh, the Bucks. Um, I see the question in here: would the price for McDaniel's be similar to Murphy the third? I think that it would be expensive. For me, the reason that the Timberwolves don't work for the Spurs in this sort of a deal, and the Knicks as well, like OG Anunoby, or Mikal Bridges, right? Cat. Uh, those are big contracts for a long time, and I don't think that the Spurs are interested in committing to that because of the situation that they're in with their own salary cap. right? Um, Next year, De'Aaron Fox's supermax or max extension kicks in. The year after that, Wemby. The year after that, Castle. The year after that, Harper. So, like, I can't see them committing to Jaden McDaniels or Nas Reed or Julius Randle for multiple years, given that that's where the Spurs cap sheet is.
One thing here, once again, you're tuning into the Silver and Black Coffee Hour trade deadline special going live. Like and subscribe. Shoot us some hearts. I love these questions. I want to just show, especially with talking about the price tag between McDaniels and Murphy. Want to just kind of bring up their contracts for both of them. One, Jaden McDaniels signed in 2023. He has a 5-year deal up to $136 million in incentive. Average on year, that contract is $26.2 million, becomes an unrestricted free agent in 2029. Trey Murphy signed his extension last year or October 24, 4 years, 112 million at 28 million per year. Also becomes an unrestricted free agent. Um, Personally, if I had a chance, I have been such a big valuer of what Jaden McDaniels brings to the team, specifically from a defensive standpoint. And just remember this too, y'all. Not many people block Victor Wembanyama. Um, this is uh, this is the guy that's blocked Victor Wembanyama. He's
Whoa, Drew
very good.
Show, 5 gifted subs in the chat. Thank you, Drew. Appreciate you, man.
Damn.
That's lovely. That's so nice.
Hell
That's
yeah. Thank
that
you.
is so nice of
Uh,
you. Shout out to the listeners, man. Shout out to the gang. I love you
yeah.
guys. Welcome. Um,
So I mean, the price tag is probably not as expensive as Trey Murphy. Maybe from a pick standpoint, I don't think. But also, like, I mean, look what the Timberwolves do with their picks. They traded for Rob Dillingham, and he can't even see the floor.
I don't think
They don't value young pieces right now with where they're at. They're trying to have been in the Western Conference the last 2 years. They want to get into the finals. They want to show Ant like want to stay here. So but if we were to help facilitate that, like I'm actually not I wouldn't be upset if the Spurs helped facilitate Timberwolves if it brought over Jaden McDaniels even more specifically.
I think the problem with that is you would also need to take on additional money, right?
Probably, yeah.
If it's a four-teamer and somebody else is picking up Julius Randle, right? Maybe. Um, I'll tell you what I'm more interested though, because like I don't know that there's much out there that the Spurs getting in on as a facilitator would make more sense than just straight up getting Giannis, and I don't think it makes sense to just straight up get Giannis. But what I do think it makes sense to do is go after another player on Milwaukee if they are indeed blowing it up, and that is Bobby Portis. Give me some crazy eyes, baby. You were talking about
Come
this on the last show.
come
Um,
Bobby. We would love to have you in San Antonio.
yeah,
Absolutely.
uh, I I would love to have Bobby
Can I
Portis on
can
the
I tell
Spurs.
you why Bobby Portis would be great in San Antonio?
Go in, Chief.
His eyes are already ready for fajitas.
They're sizzling, baby.
When you
Uh,
see those fajitas sizzling through that restaurant and you hear the crackle of those onions underneath, and everybody turns their head, they can hear the song of the fajita. All of our eyes are already widened, but you know what, Bobby Portis? He's already there. He's already ready for fajitas. He's been ready for fajitas.
can I tell you why I love Bobby Portis beyond eyeballs? This guy, if you're the Spurs, right, and you could put Jeremy Sohan and Kelly Olynyk in some sort of contraption and combine all of their best qualities, you would use that player. You would like to have that player, right? You want a veteran who can shoot the ball really well. You want a versatile defender who knows karate in case Victor Wembanyama is getting roughed up and somebody needs to get punched about it. Um, Bobby Portis is all of those things. He is on uh, his contract situation. The Spurs may have a little bit of pause about. He's got guaranteed next year, and then the year after that, a player option. It's like 14 something and 15 something. Um,
That's it.
it's not a crazy amount of money. It is future salary, but like as far as future salaries go, that's very much in their wheelhouse. I think for like they could do it and be
It's
okay
pretty
with it.
manageable, yeah. Like
It
I feel like
is,
that's pretty
and
manageable.
I think you send. Uh, it would probably be Sohan, and that's not a great situation for him long term. I think if you're Jeremy, you just sort of hope that they don't want to match you or extend you. Um, Sohan and Olynyk and a second or two. I think most of the deals that the Spurs are going to be looking for are going to involve somewhere between 1 and 2 second round picks and expiring salary. Right? It would shock me if they parted with a first. And Bobby Portis, like if they traded 3 firsts for Bobby, or 3 seconds for Bobby Portis, I'd be fine with that. The Spurs have 16 tradable second round picks and 7 first round picks. That's one in each year from now until 2032. They got a war chest, folks. But those first round picks are going to be valuable for this team as they're trying to build a sustainable contender around Victor Wembanyama. If you can get um, a productive guy on a rookie deal, that's really valuable for a team like San Antonio. We've talked about Giannis a bit here, um, and that was the obvious one. That was the one that we knew was coming at this deadline. Like with the way that things have gone for the Bucks, something that not a lot of people had. At least not at this stage in the season. After the Clippers had won 16 of their last 20 games, really turned it around once they kicked Chris Paul to the curb. Uh, James Harden said, "Screw all that. Pay me my money." And the Clippers said, "We don't want to do that. We don't want any money on our books past 2027." And he was like, "Well, trade me then." And is what the reporting is. Kind of that's what it boils down to. Um, Cleveland Cavaliers seen as a potential landing spot. I think I don't know why people aren't talking about the Timberwolves as a potential Harden destination, given their search for a point guard and they're loading up to take on Giannis. And if they whiff on Giannis, then it might make sense for them to get in on Harden.
I think that's
Um,
the where the speculation goes is that they're kind of in on Giannis first and Harden second.
yeah.
Um, which is interesting. I mean, it's a whole new ownership group with the Timberwolves, so they're officially in charge, and I mean they're trying to do some new ownership stuff here. So um let's see what's this from the Drew show here. If James Harden gets traded before Giannis, that says everything about how much people hyped up this coach killer and backstabbing malcontent.
It's crazy how many times Harden has forced his way out. I saw somebody power rank his exits, and they had Fat Suit over telling a bunch of Chinese kids that Daryl Morey is a liar. I think they're both hilarious. It's one of those things where you can't you my steak too juicy, my lobster too buttery. You can't pick a bad option there. Um, Incredible
Man,
asker outer, absolutely
yeah,
incredible.
yeah. I mean, I'm probably one of the few like Harden apologists, but like once again, I mean, I don't think he really moves the needle. It's not like he's having a bad year or anything. He's
He's having a
actually having
good
a
year.
great year. Yeah,
Yeah.
do I guess what I'm trying to figure out with this whole Giannis thing, which feels like the domino waiting to fall, is this gets into it with like usually these GMs are more creative about this than what we are, and kind of just doing one for one trades and things like that. But like, does Giannis, if he was on the Timberwolves, really move them into championship contention?
I think so. I think they also probably need to get a point guard of some sort in there, right? Probably. Um, you
Chris
know who?
Paul. Chris
Get
Paul on
sure,
a
easy.
vet minimum
How
minimum.
did how did I forget? He's I think Chris Paul was like, "Don't send me anywhere cold before February," you know. But here's on Harden. This is one that I have been thinking about. That uh, am I saying this to piss off any fans of this team that are watching? Yes, I am. Do I also think that it's like, oh, there's maybe kind of something. Uh, send him back home to Houston. Send back the injured Fred Van Vliet and Amen Thompson, who's a young star who got like might get played off the floor if he can't shoot, right?
He can't shoot.
Right. Um, if you go from having Amen Thompson and an injured Fred Van Vliet as your point guard room to James Harden, if you're the Rockets and you're kind of more desperate to push your chips in this year, I
I
kind
I've
of
been I've been trolling my Houston friends with that, and they basically are just like, I don't see how Ime would put up with Harden. So
he would not. No,
yeah.
he would not like that. Um, yeah, I I think for Giannis,
Hey,
I
what's up,
s-
Zach? See you in the
hey,
chat.
what up, buddy? I see Drew Show talking about the market for Giannis here, and I think there's a few things go into it. Attitude. I don't know if that's really as much of a concern as his age and injury history at this point in his career. Um, and I think it's also like how many teams are desperate for Giannis right now? Because uh, the Bucks have a good. Um, they can just wait. Like they
Thanks,
don't
drummer.
need to
Appreciate you being in here. Go get some.
appreciate you, man. Um, they can wait on Giannis. They don't have to do it right now when there's not a lot of teams that have like a desperate interest, or they could just it makes more sense. A lot of people think uh I think a lot of people think it makes more sense for the Bucks to just wait it out until the summer when everybody has their picks, and like they don't really want to trade Giannis right now, and he hasn't officially asked for a trade, right? He's just like, listen, if you want to trade me, you can, and I would be fine with it. Whatever, whatever. It's a messy situation over there, but one that could benefit the Spurs. Um, since we talked about Harden and the Clippers for a second there, uh, can we talk about John Collins? The John Collins trade that was promised? Uh,
You know, we're going to disagree on this. So, yes, we can talk about John Collins if you
let's
would
do it.
like to.
You got really quiet there for a second on the microphone. I don't know.
I got disconnected actually. That's why.
Yeah, I saw that.
So,
Um,
Mobby.
you're good.
But
We'll
yes,
we'll try to figure that
we can
out.
talk John Collins.
let's let's talk John Collins, because if you're a long time if you've been rocking with me for a minute, you know that I've been rocking with John Collins for a minute. Uh I went back and I found the thing that I wrote when John Collins was looking for like a max extension like 5 years ago. And the photo at the time, my friend Jackson Floyd at Kent's Five um, put together a lovely Photoshop where he's in the Fiesta jersey, and it's now so long after that the Spurs have gone through many different city edition jerseys since, and then got back to the Fiestas. Um, and he still makes sense. He still makes sense for this Spurs team. Every player is different. You're not building around DeJounte Murray and Derek White anymore. Um, but you got De'Aaron Fox, you got uh, Dylan Harper, and Steph Castle, and Victor Wembanyama. Yeah, you could use a guy who is a lob threat, who is a, a switchy four who can shoot the ball. And Collins is on a $27 million expiring contract. Um, if not for the Harden news, like when I wrote my trade deadline tracker for Sports Illustrated, it was like I don't if it was the beginning of the season and the Clippers stank, then yeah, I could see them making this move and it being a slam dunk for both teams. Um, but when you have James Harden asking out now from a team that was doing really well, like they were doing well enough that I thought they would just keep John Collins, and now James Harden wants out, and if they can dump Collins' contract to save some salary and get themselves under the tax, they may be motivated to give the Spurs a very athletic basketball player who will help them put the ball in the hole. So that's sort of my take on John Collins at this juncture. I think if you're doing a consolidation deal and you want uh, to get as a expiring money back, but use it on a high salary, high impact player, give me John Collins, man. Yeah, I see
Hmm.
a question here. What would it take to get him? Kellyo, Sohan in a couple seconds. I think that's about right. A second or two. Um, they have a Clippers second, which might be more valuable to them.
I
So
don't think you give someone just 1 second for whatever it's worth. I feel like second round picks are like, no, no, no. Have as many of these as you want. They were like the pennies
yeah,
that have now gone extinct in America.
they certainly could. I mean, like we said, somebody asked me about how the Spurs are going to treat their draft picks, and I said they're going to be very stingy with their firsts, and they are going to treat the seconds like fun coupons. They're going to say, "How many do you need?" You know, it's
Yeah.
it's a banana, Michael. How much could it cost? 17 first round, 17 second round picks. Like they're just going to be they're going to be throwing those around.
It is interesting looking at John Collins's numbers. I think some folks in the chat will appreciate this. Measured at 6'9", nice. Um, he is shooting 55.7% from the field, 42.9 from three, and free throw percentage at 77.1. Um, that's not bad at all. Where that goes for his averages, it's about his third. Well, this is the best 3-point shooting he's ever had in his career.
Yeah.
So,
And he was hooping
um,
in Utah before he went to the Clippers. So
I think John Collins has always been hooping. There's not a matter of him not. I just feel like sometimes his value has been overstated over the years. That people like the idea of John Collins rather than what John Collins provides. Um, you know, and one of these things that I think with the Spurs, and I've said this before, is one, this is not the time to go big game hunting, even if they stand pat and don't move Sohan, which I please, hope that he's if they don't trade him, like play him, it will help hopefully his value moving forward. But it's like you're looking for someone that's gonna maybe put in 7 to 10 points off of the bench. I mean, we're really not talking about much here from them. I think that is why I kind of keep going back to between like Santi Aldama, Bobby Portis. I think Bobby gives a little more defensive structure to things. And further, just thinking about who is just going to fit in, who is not going to be disruptive to this. Because granted, this is not your grandfather and your dad's Spurs team, as we saw basically Mitch Johnson bench Harrison Barnes for a game. He came back as Stephon Castle is recovering from an abductor strain, but it's I just don't see, especially with a rookie coach yet, who's still, I think, finding his voice, his rotations in the team, of like shaking something up to the level of like Harrison Barnes. Like,
yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that the Spurs could target a few different things. right? They could target center insurance, right? A guy I was looking at was Vucevic on an expiring deal from the Bulls.
And we
Uh,
heard the word Goga Batatse yesterday.
yes, Goga Batadze. It was Brett Siegel reported that Goga Batadze the Spurs have some interest in, and Robert Williams III, Time Lord. I love me some. Anytime there's a Celtics legend, I'm always going to be like, hmm. And the Time Lord
Oh,
is that.
why is that, Tom? Because you're a part of the Boston media mafia?
I already told you yes. That's we
Okay,
started
thank
the
you. I
show with
just
my
I just
confession.
needed I just needed it like out there, confessed. I will say in Austin, I don't think people really know this, but there's like a lot of people from the Boston area here as a whole. And I gotta say, like, if the Spurs want to continue their growth from a fan perspective, Robert Williams would really bring over a lot of Celtics fans that are in the area. So yeah.
Easy. And I see the chats here from Drew Show about the Kawhi investigation. Pablo Torre finds out, are the Clippers more screwed than some might think, and is that maybe playing into Harden's decision to want out? Are
My
they,
tinfoil hat says yes, and then, like, as we've been on this, Sham says that he was selected to the All-Star game now,
which
um,
is at Intuit Dome
which
in Los
is
Angeles?
which is also chosen by Adam Silver, but it does sound like the coaches were very vindictive in not choosing him because this aspiration, circumventing the cap thing pisses a lot of people off because it's like, I thought we were all on somewhat of this level playing field. You are completely going around that. And so they were sending something to him. I hope, especially Drew, I'm a big fan of Pablo Torre's investigation into this whole aspiration thing. Yeah, that the league comes down on it. We got Michael Pera, war criminal for the Grizzlies, who's also talked about
Allegedly.
moving the team to Vegas. There's receipts on that one. And then we also have uh, Steve Ballmer here, blatantly circumventing the cap with a company that wasn't really planting trees. Tom, do you want to go into a not really planting trees business with me? I feel like we would make bank
I
here in
mean,
Central Texas.
if all we got to do is take people's money and say, yeah, we're gonna plant some trees, you're doing a good thing, and then they're like, do we do a good thing? And we're like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did a good thing.
That works for me. That's a
And to
good day
be
to day.
fair, we have, we're media members covering the San Antonio Spurs, but we cannot, circumvent their cap. That's
Yeah.
like we would just take the money and use it for ourselves.
And
So
like I've sold trees in the past, you know.
this is
But
true.
anyway, um,
Hey, what's up, Tall Relativity? Welcome to the chat as one of our new gifted subs. If you guys want to give some more subs out to people, we would not stop y'all. We're here once again, Silver and Black Coffee Hour, talking about trade deadline shit, especially involving the Spurs. But as things happen in the league, and we're talking about the wider expanse of the league, it does affect the Spurs. Spurs are second in the West. Like, they're close. One thing I think is really interesting about them, Spurs have shown that we have the personnel to deal with OKC, right? Do we have the personnel to deal with the Timberwolves or the Phoenix Suns?
I don't think I don't think you make trades based on that. The Suns actually were reported as having interest in Sohan, which is interesting. That was Michael Scott of Hoop Hypes, Hoops Hype, Hoops Hype, Hoops Hype. Um,
I also have some other Phoenix Suns news that I can only share with you and Zach off the record
Ooh.
about when they'll be in Austin.
But yeah, Nick Richards. uh, If the Spurs are looking for backup center insurance, apparently the reporting on that is that the Suns don't want to go further into the tax and are close enough to the tax line that they might try to duck under it. Um, I
What
think
what what does Nick Richards do for you?
it gives you another center.
Exactly. Everybody wants to know. I would like a backup center with the most generic name in the NBA. Get me Nick Richards. Thank you.
Nick
Okay.
Richards would not be the most generic name in the NBA. They've
John
studied this.
Collins?
No. Well, I mean that's a good one, but as far as NBA names go, statistically the most likely first name is Jalen, and the most likely last name is Williams, and the Oklahoma City Thunder have two guys named Jalen Williams, and I just
I
think
guess
that's
that's
fun.
true. Also, Zach wants me to explain the background. Zach, clearly I'm at the Frost Bank Center and I'm making sure Stephon Castle is shooting well. All right. I'm covering the team as we speak.
Stephon Castle has been stuck
Stephon,
like
are
that for a
you are you
while, and
cool?
it
Are you
it
cool with
looks
Bobby
like
Portis? Do you want Bobby Portis or John Collins? Who do you want? Stephon. Oh, okay. Also off the record. Okay, never mind. We'll report back later.
good. That was
He's
a good
he's
chat.
he's
That
dialed in, man. That's why it's just stuck there. He's
if I
dialed
remember
in.
correctly, that photo, you and me were at the game, watching them warm up, and it was like he was questionable because of the thumb or something, and Harp asked him if he was playing, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm playing," and I was like, "Huh, okay." Um, yeah. Let me see. Let me look at our little rundown here because we've kind of been as free form and all over the place as I expected us to be.
I didn't even get
Um,
the rundown, so that's also on me.
I sent it to you, big dog.
You
Um,
did?
oh yeah. Um,
I have not checked my email.
well,
Oh,
it's in
here it
there.
is. Okay,
Uh,
wow. I could have kept this much more on the
we
rails.
we got there. We hit all the good notes.
Damn.
Um,
Okay.
but all right. So I want to at this point in time encourage chatters. Anybody listening, anybody watching, if you want to drop your trade target ideas for the Spurs in the comments below. We've already talked through some of these guys.
AF Blue 82 has one. Stephon Castle for Giannis. Hold on. Let me ask Stephon if he likes that. Hey, Stephon. Yeah, you want to go to Milwaukee? No, but for Giannis, still okay. Never mind. He doesn't want to do that. I'm
Still no.
sorry.
Okay,
Would love
cool.
Bobby Fajita Eyes Portis though. That would be great.
Yes. We talked through some of the guys that um, I think we hit all of the guys on expiring deals that I like for the Spurs. Um, you know, the Vooch would have been interesting, but not happening for San Antonio. As far as guys who have money left on their deals and years left on their deals, we already talked about Goga Batadze. We already talked about Bobby Portis. A guy who I like and a guy who um, is on one of the only contracts that I think the Spurs would look at the contract itself as a valuable asset is Sadiq Bey, who makes like $6 million next year, and that's the last you know last year of his deal. And I mean, this is a guy who's scored 51 points in an NBA game. He's only 26. He is a Swiss Army knife. Um, and if you can go and get a guy on the wing who is versatile, who makes 4% of the salary cap, and he's a contributor, I think that that could be very juicy for the Spurs. I think that that would be a really nice move. How do you feel about Sadiq Bey?
Well, after the way he just recently played the Spurs, I feel pretty good. I'm looking at his stats right now. He's at 6'8". He's kind of a big boy 6'8", which as a fellow big boy, as a fellow large lad, I like. Let's see here. According to ESPN stats and info, 44.6% from the field, 34.3 on three-point shooting,
It's a career high for points for him this year. He gets boards.
He is in a situation too of um of that increased usage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think if he's on the Spurs, he's not doing as much. Also, man, I mean, he's only had one season where he's played all 82. Looks like there's actually been kind of just judging by this injury history here as well.
I see Tall Relativity in the chat. High on Noah Clowney. This year, Clowney averaging 13 points and 4.3 rebounds and 1.9 assists for the Brooklyn Nets. He's shooting 32% from three, which is about where he's at for his career. Let me check on his contract. The Nets are definitely, I mean, should be in pretty much blow it up mode. A lot of
They
talk
already
about
are in blow it up mode. They they they, they just don't have much to blow up.
right. They don't have a ton of dynamite, but I mean, Michael Porter Jr. A lot of people see as being a big trade target, and I mean, listen, since we're talking about him, let's talk about him because all right, and Clowney's contract next year is a club option for 5.4 million, and then he's a restricted free agent. So that's kind of interesting. Um, but Michael Porter Jr., I mean, if you're looking for a four who can shoot it, and you want to send all of that salary out, uh, and probably a couple of firsts to get a guy for 1 year. Michael Porter Jr., he's shooting like 40% on 10 threes a game. He probably could have been an all-star even though the Nets stink. Um, and like the basketball fit and the fact that it's like the last year, like he's only got a year on his contract and it's the year before Victor's uh, you know, max kicks in. He could be a good enough fit that the Spurs say, you know what, screw it, we ball and just try to keep him away from podcast microphones. But like
They would do a good job at that. They're very good at
they
that.
would. They I can see them locking that down tight. Um, but I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see them meeting what I imagine is going to be a very high asking price from the Nets, who are going to look to cash in at the top of his value. Um, yeah,
Drew Show, I'm a bit in agreement on your last two comments here about Sohan. I think there are some places that once again he would be good. We talked about it on the last show, but you know, what is the value of him right now in the league? And it seems like it's divided. I mean, I think it's probably also divided within the Spurs. If I were to guess. So I don't know. I at the end of the day will say like if the Spurs just keep this and they're just like, let's just ride this out and see what happens. And like the development you get is from your essentially rookie head coach and this team, like do it, you know? Um I I think where I keep kind of coming into this, and maybe this is just my exhaustion with trade slop, uh, is where well, Tom, did something happen on Twitter? I feel like you're making a face.
I'm laughing because of this chat from Gladgeister, who writes Kelly for Geronimo Stilton, and I was pretty sure that Geronimo Stilton wasn't a real guy, but I had to Google it. And Geronimo Stilton turns out is a popular Italian children's book series about a mouse who is a newspaper editor in New Mouse City. Um, and
Does
like
he wear a backwards hat too?
no, and doesn't have a great head of hair the way that Kelly does. But I gotta say, if you know, Kelly's gonna be gone at the end of the season, right? If you can get some value for him, even if it's a fictional mouse, a fictional Italian mouse who's a newspaper editor in New Mouse City, it's a gamble worth taking. This we got the best listeners in the whole wide world, man. Who else? Who else? Where else are you getting the Geronimo Stilton trade analysis? Nowhere.
And I was like, Geronimo Stilton, haven't heard of him. Must make like $2 million a year or
Right.
something.
It's a real fringe move. No, no one else in the league has a guy like that. You are 100% right, Gladgeister. Thank you.
This is
That's good. We had a lot of fun on this show, but that's a good one, man. Oh God, that's good. That's good stuff. Um, let's see. I'll mention a few names that have been mentioned to me that I did a little bit of the due diligence on and was like not worth writing about because it's not going to happen. But people have mentioned them. Obi Toppin from the Pacers is sort of an interesting basketball fit. It's probably not going to happen because he's coming off of an injury and he's got years left on his deal, and the Pacers are probably just hoping he gets healthy and run it back next year with Tyrese Halliburton healthy. But like on a basketball fit level, uh I think that would be kind of a cool one. Uh, the one that definitely, I guess, two in the same category, in a tier of their. Oh, we got to trade, folks. We
waiting
got to
on.
trade. Not for the Spurs, for the Clippers and James Harden. They are trading James Harden for Darius Garland of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Um,
It's
for
officially
Garland and a
happened.
second. James Harden goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Darius Garland and a second round pick per Shams Charania.
Okay, if I
Breaking news right now.
okay, since we like role playing here, I'm gonna be a Cavs fan.
Okay.
Huh? Huh? Okay, scene. Okay, now I'm gonna be a Clippers fan. Huh?
I
The
think
the
that's fair.
the
I think that's about what's
the
happening.
the toe guy?
This is a
Like,
weird one, man.
I'm just like,
This is a weird trade.
I
Um,
don't really like. Okay, so Harden is going to help set up the offense better for what Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, and then just make sure that Donovan Mitchell cooks. I mean, didn't we already kind of see a similar Donovan Mitchell like player in Russell Westbrook in their time in Houston?
I would not compare those guys as player. In fact, I think there's been a lot of talk about like I love the 520 podcast with Jeff Teague. Those guys are funny, man. It's a lot of good ball analysis, and it's a lot of them watching highlights and going like, "Damn," and then it's a lot of like, "Man, that's a crazy that's a crazy roster move thing or whatever." But like, go get your money though. And they were talking about
Man, Shams chose the fat picture for Harden in this graphic. That's crazy.
oh, that's crazy work. that that is crazy work. Um, but like I don't know, man. This is I kind of can't it's this happened very quickly, right? Um yeah, no, this is for me it raises the question of what do the Clippers do next, right? Um yeah. To be fair, Clippers had no choice from a spleen. It would be great if we were talking to a spleen. That would be really I don't even I'll be honest. I don't know what spleens do. Um
I don't either. I'm not going to look
This
it up
one
either. Some
this
things
one
just
asks
need
good
to remain a
questions though,
mystery.
and makes good points. Uh, yeah, that's. Do we think? But back to the Cleveland situation, right? Like, uh, Donovan Mitchell has wanted to play on the ball more and has played on the ball more, but I think he wants to play on the ball less than he has been. you know? Um, so I think
No, Cleveland does not have good clubs for Harden, but I will say LeBron James did elevate the entire economy of Cleveland during his time there. So I do believe there's some good food options for Harden, but like, is his jersey going to be hanging in the rafters like it is in Houston? No.
what is the
And if you also
nearest
understand that what I mean by hanging in the rafters, because it's at a very specific strip club in Houston.
what what are the nearest nightlife cities that he could like get to, you know?
From
Like take a PJ.
Cleveland? Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, dude, you can go to New York pretty easily from your PJ to Cleveland, yeah?
Sure. Yeah. Chicago's
You
fun
know?
when it's nice out. Um
Chicago, I mean, if he wants to get like have some real fun, I personally I love Detroit. So like go to Detroit. Your dollar goes farther still. So yeah. Barnes and Olenek for Porzingis. Man, I do not want Porzingis anywhere near the San Antonio Spurs personally. Um, Mainly because he's just sick all the time. I don't want Victor getting sick. He already dealt with his own health scare last year.
I
I feel like this is all done though. Harden once again is doing this because of that aspiration investigation. So maybe this also further opens up the John Collins idea.
I think I mean um the other possibility is that like this is really the end, after this year. So the Clippers feel like they gotta retool and do what they can to try to win this year as a play-in team because they know they know that they're just like screwed in the
But Harden's
future.
been playing better than Darius Garland mainly because Harden has been playing. And Darius
Right.
Garland's toes are fucked up. Like
Yeah.
all of them. Like
Yeah.
so I'm just
I'm
yeah.
it was kind of shocking that it shocked a lot of people that Harden wanted out, but then I think also when the news broke, it was like, "Man, that news is shocking. Why? They're so good." And then it was like they didn't, he wants to get that bag and they didn't want to extend him. And it's like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." Like James Harden, generational bag getter. Once in a generation bag getter. Um so you kind of just got to tip your cap.
Look, there's a lot that people will say like, "Hey, doesn't James Harden have enough money?" In James Harden's mind, the answer is no. And look, Tom, if I asked you the same, Tom, do you feel like you make enough money?
I mean,
No,
I
no.
could
Tom
I
Petrini,
could always
professional
use
bag
more.
getter.
I
Yeah,
could always use
exactly.
more, you
And
know?
James Harden has the same mentality. He's like, yeah, 200, 300 million. I guess I could use some more, you know?
It's like I said, man, T show is funny, and they were like, "Yeah, he's gonna get that money, and he's not gonna go anywhere bad," you know? Like, that is the James Harden way. Um, I think it's interesting basketball fit-wise for Cleveland, who's one of the more disappointing teams
The
this
Pablo
year.
thing has broken my mind, Drew Show. I'm not gonna lie. I feel
The what?
like Drew Show brought up that, it's right in front of you. They traded a guy in street clothes for Harden. They couldn't care less about a play in. This Pablo thing has broken your minds. Look, it's broken my minds, and it's why I also think they signed Lawrence Frank to that extension because that guy knows where the bodies are buried.
Yeah. No, you wanna you wanna keep those guys happy, or at least out of trouble, right? Um, yeah, I don't know. I bizarre. What a bizarre season for the Los Angeles Clippers. Like, you know,
They've won
we're
what, like 16 out of their last 21, and Harden's like,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, if if they had kept up their pace from the beginning of the season and James Harden was like, "Yo, peace," everybody would have been like, "Yeah, I get it," you know? Um But it's the fact that they were doing well. Um, Vinny Canetti, in the comments LeBron joining Cleveland, chin scratching emoji. I think from what I've seen from people reporting on LeBron James and what could be next for him as he's like 40, 41. Um, he played in Cleveland recently. They did the tribute video as they do every time he comes back. He got a little, misty-eyed, and a lot of people have speculated that he would be interested in wrapping it up where it all started, and that the Cavs, who would likely make a lot of money in ticket sales, if nothing else, but also probably would see him as a, even at his advanced age, a contributing basketball player. Now they got Harden. I mean, interesting, right? I don't hate it. Um, If you're looking for a Spurs trade involving Sohan and Kelly, who from the Clippers roster do you want? It's right there. Open the fridge and look. A riddle from the Drew Show. I love it.
I'm guessing it's not John Collins.
It would have to be somebody else. Although one of
Let's look at the
my
Clippers roster. Oh, does he want Kawhi Leonard?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Hey,
Um,
Stefan, do you
are
want
there
another
are there
point of
any
attack defender?
Clippers who are foodstuffs? A spleen says that the Clippers won't trade Collins. Why not though? Um, I uh I don't think they're gonna try to tank. I think it's more about
Oh, the
the
Drew Show. Are you
the
talking
tax
about
for them.
Batum?
Mm,
Nicholas, which is always funny when you have a guy from France and you're like, what about the other French guy on their team?
right.
It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
look, I live in America and I don't like a lot of Americans. It's not like it's
It
not.
would be so funny if they were like, "Oh, Victor, we went and got a French guy. Don't aren't you happy?" And he's like, "I actually don't fuck with that guy at all." Uh,
Yeah, so like it's also. I mean, even France being the size of Texas, like, look, there's not like I don't like every Texan. I like a lot of them, but like it's just kind of funny. Okay, so you're saying Drew Show that there's a Clippers yard sale. Um, I mean, I don't think I just can't imagine Kawhi is welcome back to San Antonio with open arms.
Brooke Lopez, if it's a fire sale, he's
He's
37.
having he's having a pretty down year, but
Yeah,
if you're looking for that backup big, sure. The
yeah,
backup to the backup big, I should say.
right. Um,
Um,
yeah, it's interesting. And a name uh I was just about to get into this part before the news broke. Um, there are a couple of former Longhorns, big men that I think some people have seen that and think they might be on the trading block and say, "Ah, Spurs should bring that guy in." Um,
like LaMarcus Aldridge,
I don't
bring
think
him
it's
back out
happening
of
for
retirement.
LaMarcus Aldridge. I don't think it's happening for Miles Turner, and I don't think it's happening for Jared Allen, who I've seen his name thrown around for reasons that we've talked about on this stream. Uh, the there's too much money on those deals, and they're not going to spend that much money on a center long term. Just not going to do it.
Tom, we've
Um,
been going for over an hour. Do you feel like the minute we get off this, the Spurs are going to make a trade?
I think so. Yeah. uh, I'm almost certain of it, in fact, which means you can't go anywhere. We're gonna be on all night. I hope you're comfortable.
Oh
Uh,
man, I'm sitting in the same chair I've been working in all day. I'm like, I'm gonna have a long day tomorrow too.
Dude, so
But maybe.
I gotta just do this bit because it was very funny. Um, I the my Spurs trade deadline tracker is now around 3,000 words, and I was writing it all of yesterday, and obviously spending a lot of time in the trade machine. I use the Sport Track one, which has the picks, which is great. Um, but I like I spent the whole day doing that, and Jess came home. It's like, oh, how was your day? Good. Oh, how was your day? And I was like, it was good. I was in the trade machine like all day. And she was like, is that what you're calling the bed now? And I was like, okay. Physically I am in the bed, but my mind is in the trade machine. Um, yeah. And yeah, Drew Show, if you're talking about John Collins, man, I'm I'm big on the John Collins train. I'm uh one of my readers said that they remembered something that I wrote about John Collins 5 years ago. And this is the food bit, right? Um I was like, listen, is John Collins the perfect basketball player? The guy that you would pick number 1 overall and build your team around? No. But like you wouldn't just bite into an onion and eat it, right? If you saute it in some oil with some garlic, you could that's a great ingredient in a lot of other dishes that have more like meat and substance to them, right? Um so yeah. I I don't know. I don't know if the Clippers are like, we need to, duck tax, right? Because they're not going to want to pay the tax this year without Harden. I don't think that they're contenders without Harden, and I don't think
They're
they were
about
contenders
to
with
they're
Harden.
about to get taxed anyway.
But
They're
they
gonna
can
get
dodge it.
punished. They're gonna get punished.
Yeah. So exactly. So why would you want to spend extra money that you don't need to spend if you can pick up a second round pick or two that like you can add to rebuilding from the wreckage of this this nonsense year.
Yeah, yeah.
I if I'm saying Sohan, Olynyk, Clippers second round pick in 2029. Hit the button.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think the Clips would be inclined.
I think so, but I
Even if
don't
it's
know,
two,
man.
even if you send 2 seconds.
Look, I'm never going to be one to be like, not my second round picks. Like whatever. So, um, man, is there anyone else Spurs wise targeting that we haven't covered yet, Tom?
Um, there was some reporting that they were interested in Keon Ellis, um, and missed out on him to the Cavs. I see Dom Pixelmaster, Santi Aldama. We talked about him earlier in the show, but yeah, I mean, if I think that Santi
We
Aldama
are
is,
fans. We are fans, by the
yeah,
way,
big fan of
Dom.
the
So
trolley
yeah,
problem. I think that Santi Aldama making $17 million next year and on a team with a team option for the next year after that. I think that's like the biggest contract with years still on it that the Spurs would even consider, right? Um, so yeah, Bobby Portis, I'm with you, Valentino. Love Bobby Portis. Um, Ew, what do you mean, Trigger Trey? Portis would fit, man. I really really like Bobby Portis's fit on this team. Um, hope we get Devin Carter's balding ass one day. We could use more bald guys, you know. Um,
I
and
mean,
Vinny
I
Canetti,
mean,
what do the Spurs need right now? I think it's somebody who could play in that 3.5 to 4.5 range, right? And shoot the ball.
someone who doesn't disrupt and gives space, like
Jalen
just
Smith, thank you. Uh, that is one name that I have on my tracker that we haven't talked about today.
Jalen
He's
Smith,
on a
an
good contract.
American basketball player.
Out of Maryland, wears goggles. He's
Okay,
shooting
that's cool.
he's shooting a career high like 38% from three this year. Um, you know, I could see it. I could really
He
see it.
he shoots 38% from 3 and puts up 4 shots from 3 a game.
Yeah. Yeah, Dom, it's a big it's really funny for me. I'm having deja vu, right? I tweeted about this the other night, but like that chase down block that Wemby had against the Magic, it made me think of Luka Šamanic's last play on a similar play, which was also against the Magic, and I was like, I belong in a mental hospital if that's how my mind works. But yeah, Jalen Smith, Sadiq Bey, John Collins, these are guys who like many years ago when I was thinking about how the Spurs could be better around DeJounte Murray and Derek White, I was like, man, those guys would fit. Um, so, you know, it's is Bobby Portis's defense really that bad? 55th worst defender in the NBA, based on what metric? Because the Bucks have just been awful. I think if there's a fire sale in Milwaukee, Gary Trent and maybe even Ryan Rollins would be really interesting. Smaller players. Um, the Bulls, Io DeSunmu might be available. Um, but Spurs have a lot of options here. They got a lot of options. Um,
They do. Um, Tom, I gotta go eat dinner, man.
that's quite all right, buddy. I feel like this was a productive show.
I
It's,
think it was. I really enjoyed it. Jalen Smith is pretty intriguing guy to think about here. Um, I always feel like though, just someone that the Spurs trade for at this point is like remember last year where we got Jordan McLaughlin? I was like, I don't even know who that person is. Um, I feel like their team does a good job at finding guys that I have no idea who they are. And Jordan McLaughlin has been a contributor in the way that he needed to be a contributor for this team. So, um, yeah, Dom, I agree. The Bulls are easy to rob. They have already been a trade partner with the Spurs as well. So, I mean, that's
the the Bulls have had more trades at this deadline than any other team, and I still don't know what they're doing. I have no idea what they're doing.
they are trying to be in the play-in perpetually. The
I
play-in is for the Hawks and the Bulls in the East. It always has been, always will be.
they're confounding on so many levels. I think AB, if you got to go to dinner,
I
um,
don't gotta go to dinner. I'm just like, it's time to eat, man. It's 7:30. Like
it
I'm not,
is. It
you
is.
know.
I'm happy to if you want to pop out, I'm happy to stick around and chat with the chatters and looks like we got 60 people in here right now. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in to this point. Appreciate y'all. Um but yeah, any last words from you for the people, Aaron Blackerby?
Look, um, if you're new to this chat, you will see a rant at the beginning. I definitely came in hot against the Boston Celtics, so please go back and look at that. Also, like and subscribe. Tell your friends and tell your enemies. And like, I know we say that every goddamn show, but we fucking mean it. Tell everyone that even bothers to wear any type of Spurs paraphernalia or memorabilia. We want that. We want them to come in. Um, and what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, we're recording a show later this week with Brandon James, talking about Austin Spurs Week and other things. He's a part of the Spurs Legal Council, which last year was a really fun interview. Excited to talk with Brandon. And then on top of all that, we're gonna have a regularly scheduled show. Um, there's so much shit going on, man. Um, so with that being said, I got to go do some self care and feed myself. I am really appreciative for everybody that joined. Shout out to you, Drew Show, for gifting some subs our way. In the future, we'll be better. We'll talk about super chats and like people giving us money to like say whatever the hell they want to on this thing. Um, in the meantime, please take care of each other. I've really appreciated the chat here being very constructive and doing more yes and than tearing each other down. That's always great to see from a fan perspective. So go Spurs, go! And hell of a game tomorrow night against the Oklahoma City Thunder.
We
I
didn't even
really
mention
want,
that.
I really want the Spurs fans, Jackals, baseline bums. I remember you. Uh, Look, we got to go tomorrow night. Playoff decibel round two. It's got to be a round two playoff decibel level tomorrow night.
A spleen ass,
So
do you think they'll win, AB?
yeah, yeah, I do. Yep,
I think so too.
I think the Spurs win tomorrow. I mean, we didn't even talk about the Orlando game. Holy shit. Did Mitch Johnson take the 7 seconds or less Suns and put that even more? You know, the Spurs basically average when they get across the half court line around 20 seconds left in the shot clock. In that game, they're around 21, 22 seconds. They were blazing.
He was doing the third base coach all night.
I mean, he was just like, "Oh, our cabin pressure left in our plane. Oh, we've had a long day. Oh, Victor, you've been up since 6. Don't give a shit. Run." It was like they were being punished for their plane going down. Like,
Yeah.
so it's all relativity. Going to the first game in Dallas, man, that's going to be a good one. Man, Cooper Flag's really coming out. That's going to be a fun one as well. So, um, look, I know I said I was going to leave, and I am, but
You're just having too much fun.
there's just too much to talk about, man. I've been dealing with work shit all day. Now I get to talk about something I really enjoy. Um, Look, I think tomorrow we're getting the dub against OKC. Watch out for that Dallas team still. I'm a little more wary of the second night of a back to back in Dallas.
Yep.
OKC is playing Orlando tonight. They will be on the second night of a back to back as well. Um, so, yeah, thanks everyone. I gotta go find my wife and see what she needs me to make her for dinner.
What a
And
man.
I'll catch y'all later. Peace.
Peace out, buddy.
Oh wait, this will end the stream if I drop.
What? That's a load of crap.
Tom, you gotta decide. Or wait, maybe this one? Let's see this one.
Let's see. Let's see if you can exit safely.
I'm okay. I'm removing myself. Vinny, I'm actually not gonna have a big dinner. I'm just gonna eat something though. But thank you. I would
Remove
like a big
yourself from the
dinner.
narrative, sir.
Hey, Taco Palenque is now being served at the Frost Bank Center. Stefan, you hear that? Taco Palenque.
Love you, buddy. Thanks for
Later.
doing this.
Love y'all.
Appreciate you.
Love you, man.